up on WTV8 News. A lack of public transportation in Waverly isn't stopping Wartburg students without wheels from getting around. We'll tell you why.
And find out why campus security had to put up new signs regarding the weapons policy.
Plus, the Wartburg football team is hot off the field. We'll tell you all you need to know about tonight's clash with the Fighting Scots. This is WTV8 News.
From the Grant Fry studio of the McElroy Communication Arts Center at Wartburg College, this is WTV8 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Bridgewater.
And I'm Brianna Nielsen.
Before we begin tonight's newscast, we have breaking news coming into the WTV8 newsroom.
Just moments ago, students were evacuated from Hebron Residence Hall on Wartburg's campus. WTV8's John Householder was at the scene and has more.
I just got here just 1 second ago. I talked to a fire official. All the students have been evacuated. Actually, the fire official got a call about 15 minutes ago. They came here. They believe the cause was a popcorn bag, but they're not totally sure right now. I've heard that from a few fire officials, only a couple though. I don't know if all of them really know what the cause is. They do not know who started this. It's still under investigation. We'll let you know if we know anything shortly.
Although that situation is unfortunate, we are fortunate enough to have not had a campus shooting situation such as has occurred at Virginia Tech or Northern Illinois University.
But is Wartburg College prepared if a tragedy strikes? I have more details.
Got it! Shoot, shot! I don't know what the hell he's doing!
Police officers rushed into Luther Hall Wednesday morning as a gunman took aim at employees inside.
Upstairs. Oh, top of the stairs, what he said.
Yeah, right north.
I'm up. 6 good.
But in this case, the guns were fake, and the gunmen and victims were actors.
What we wanted to do is train to ensure that if there was a situation that happened on Wartburg campus, that Wartburg campus security would be notified, and then also that notification would make it to us. And that worked really well today.
Wartburg College is required to conduct an emergency exercise once a year. This year, the college decided to involve the Waverly Police Department.
Several organizations were needed to exercise their emergency response capability. The college, the hospital and NOAA clinic, and of course the police.
The system to notify the police department worked according to plan.
But of course, on paper, it always works well, but this was nice to see it play out. These
exercises are very helpful for us to learn how to improve things. There's a lot of things that I learned today that you just don't think about from day to day.
And if there ever is an emergency on campus, Wartburg Security wants to send you an alert. This year, security chose a new program to send out text message alerts to students and faculty. In order to receive these alerts, students must re-register through the Wartburg website. The registration is simple and quick, requiring only a phone number and email address. So far, 667 of Wartburg's 1,500 students have re-registered. Reasons for switching the alert programs include cost, ease of use, as well as preventing occasional system crashes.
Over the summer, a Waverly teen was found on Wartburg's campus with a BB gun. As a result, Wartburg Security has put up signs that have people talking. Campus security has put up no weapons permitted signs on the doors of the main buildings on campus. This change took place after a juvenile brought a realistic toy gun onto campus last month. Police were called after there were reports of a male with a gun on campus.
Long story short, he meant no harm. I think he was 15 years old. He had bought it in Walmart the day before. The problem was it was a very realistic looking toy BB gun. It looked like a real automatic pistol.
Students are allowed to have guns on campus, however, that policy has changed slightly as well. Students may not keep a gun in their room. The guns must be registered and stored within the security office.
What's changed in the policy is they can still bring them, we will secure them, but what we want them to do is park in the parking lot, and then we'll go out and escort them in so that somebody seeing somebody walking in with a gun doesn't freak out.
Myers said so far no students have registered guns for this school year.
Each year, enrollment management collects data on the incoming freshman class. Although the official data is not yet released, WTV8's Jacqueline Schutte got a first exclusive look at what makes up the class of 2015.
The incoming freshman census does not get released until the 10th day of class, but we can tell you this year's first year of enrollment is one of Wartburg's largest. Enrollment is up 25 students from last year, a total of 560 first years. We can tell you 2/3 come from Iowa. The rest represent nearly every continent and more than 50 countries. We also learned the average ACT score for the incoming class is 24, which is typical. Vice President for Enrollment Management, Edith Waldstein, is excited to see the influence of new faces on campus.
Yeah, well, they always bring, wherever they're coming from and their whole history and biography. So, for example, this year where we have so many more international students, I'm sure that will be noticeable on campus. So they will bring, as a group, I think, a global perspective.
Dr. Waldstein also said she notices technology playing a factor in students' lives. More students bring electronic devices such as gaming systems, smartphones, and laptops on campus. Back to you.
Thanks, Jackie. The large number of incoming students giving Res Life is a headache. 4 study lounges in Grossman Hall are being occupied with new students because of the overfill. These students did not have housing forms completed before all the rooms were already filled. Students in Grossman have differing opinions on the lounges being changed into dorm rooms.
I just saw a huge room. I didn't know I'd be in a lounge. I never got that email, but I was happy. It looked big. It was nice. Really spacious for 4 guys.
It kind of sucks that we don't have a study room because, I live with 5 other dudes. It gets kind of loud in there sometimes. Even if you're in your own room, you'd like to go somewhere different to study. I'm just kind of gonna have to adapt.
Residential Life Director Westbrook says that is not a permanent solution.
And now those 4 rooms in particular in Grossman aren't able to be programmed, they're not able to do activities there, things of that nature. So from my perspective, I'd like to get them out of there as soon as we can.
Residence Life says they are planning to have the study lounges back to normal after winter break. Coming up on WTV8 News, going to class is only half the fun of being a college student.
The other half getting involved in one of Wartburg's many student organizations. Many Wartburg grads have gone on to have successful careers, but one can say she's breaking the glass ceiling.
Justin Saccone sits down with a Wartburg alum whose rich family history has helped her to reach a career milestone.
Pastor Chris, thank you so much for letting us talk to you. How does it feel to become the first lead female pastor at the Easter Lutheran Church?
It's exciting to be the lead pastor at Easter Lutheran Church. It's a church that I love, and I'm excited about the mission of Easter Lutheran Church and excited for what the future has to offer. The whole female thing doesn't come into play for me as much as it does for other people. I just am who I am, so it's just about following God's call in my life.
Has the congregation given you positive reception?
Absolutely. I don't know how much you know about how churches work, but basically the congregation has to vote in order for somebody to be called as a pastor, and so the congregational vote was a very affirming and positive one, and I've been at Easter for 5 years, so they all know me really well. They've been very supportive, and it's a really exciting time for the church.
Your family, including your aunt and mother, were pastors. How does your new position validate the hard work your family has put in to be female pastors?
My mom actually went to seminary after I did, so she was not a pastor until I had already been a pastor for 4 years. So for her, it was something that wasn't an option for her when she graduated from college to go to seminary because women were not being ordained at that time. But my aunt was a pastor and played a lot of pretty significant roles in the ELCA, and so she was definitely one of the women who kind of forged the way for the rest of us, and so I am deeply grateful for her commitment.
Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your new job.
Thank you very much.
Kappa will officially become the lead pastor on September 18th. And about 85% of Wartburg students have a car on campus, A new program on campus will help the remaining 15% get around. WTV8's Ben Hoppenworth explains.
Meet the newest members of the Wartburg family, the 2011 Toyota Prius and Scion XB. The U-Haul car share program made Wartburg its 22nd stop across the country to help students get where they need to go.
The long-term hope is that we're going to develop a comprehensive transportation plan to provide transportation alternatives to students so that they don't need to bring a car to campus.
These cars cost nothing to the school directly. Ann Duncan, Wartburg's Environmental Sustainability Coordinator, helped choose both cars for specific reasons.
I selected the Prius so that we had an option that was very environmentally conscious option, something that was a low cost for fuel. And then we chose a Scion to allow for transportation of larger items. So if 5 people are going to go shopping and they need to buy a significant amount of stuff, they can share that cost and fit it all into the larger Scion vehicle.
The goal of the U-Haul car share program is to have fewer students bring cars to campus. As the number of student cars decreases, the number of rentals available will be most likely increased. Possibly the best selling point of all for the average college student is the parking space, right next to the student center.
It is probably the best student parking they could get on campus.
Reporting for WTV8 News, I'm Ben Hoppenworth.
The U-Haul car share program charges only $5 per hour to rent even one of the cars. To request either the Prius or the Scion, you can find the link to the U-Haul car shares program's website.
Wartburg College has 100 student organizations, and today they had a chance to recruit new members. Hundreds of students packed the halls of the Champions Hall at the W. The fair's goal is to put students in with organization leaders. Though the event saw mainly first-year students, some transfers and upperclassmen did attend. Many of the Wartburg groups lured students with gifts and activities. The Catholic Knights handed out free Gatorade, Ritter Coors served root beer, and the Ultimate Frisbee played catch outside. Wartburg Student Body President Rex Davidson enjoys the fair because he feels if a student is involved in their college, their experience will be more memorable.
Well, I think the more involved people get, the more attached to the campus they become, and the more they enjoy their time here at Wartburg. And so the greater we can promote the involvement of the different organizations, the more students are going to like where they're at, and they're going to be satisfied with their experience here at Wartburg.
With Wartburg students moving back to campus this week, workers at the W say people have a lot to look forward to. Wartburg students can once again get into the W workout facilities by simply presenting their Wartburg student ID. Those attending Wartburg can also choose to participate in intramurals, which are expected to start up this fall. However, the W workers say community members have a lot to look forward to as well.
We'll have community days throughout the year, and that is we are open to anyone in the community to come on in and try everything out. It's free of charge.
The W is still unsure of when the community days will take place, but will hopefully know soon.
When we come back, a fire that forced dozens of students out of their homes. Stay tuned for that and more WTV8 News. Welcome back to WTV8 News. Earlier, we brought you breaking news concerning a fire in Hebron Res Hall on the Wartburg College campus on the 3rd floor.
This is video from the scene of that incident. WTV8's John Householder tells us fire officials are unsure of what exactly caused the fire. Students in Hebron were evacuated from the building when fire alarms went off. There are rumors flying around that a popcorn bag was the cause. However, fire officials say that they are still investigating who caused the fire. Visit the Wartburg Circuit for continuing information on this story.
And as Wartburg students are just moving in, students in another area are struggling to find somewhere else to live. This morning, a fire broke out in the Boston apartment building that housed several students from different colleges. The fire started in a basement laundry room and spread to every other floor. Nobody was injured in the fire.
One UCLA student left home unexpectedly 2 weeks ago. Chris Young is in the Middle East fighting with Libyan rebels. Young isn't a part of the military and has no training. Young's peers at UCLA have differing views on his actions.
But I'm going to give him credit because that's a pretty important thing that's happening out there in Libya.
Probably an idiot. Unless he's got ROTC training or any training of any sort, he's probably just going to get himself killed.
Coffee. It's a popular and sometimes necessary beverage among college students, but some have to be on the wonder if caffeine is really what keeps them going. Researchers in London have found that decaf coffee may be just as effective as caffeinated coffee. They conducted a study in which participants were given coffee as thought they was caffeinated, but it wasn't. The participants showed signs of an increased performance and mood, and some did better on the test for those who were given the caffeinated coffee. The findings of the study suggest that the energy boost from coffee may be a placebo effect. And now Shelby Granath has this week's sports.
Coming up next in sports, I'll bring you all the highlights from the Wartburg-Monmouth football game this last Saturday. Stay tuned, sports is next. Welcome back. Football season was officially underway last Saturday as the Wartburg Knights traveled to Monmouth, Illinois to take on the highly touted Fighting Scots. This is the third year in a row that these teams have met on the gridiron, and Monmouth was looking for their first win against the Knights in that span. Knights come off strong, and they're going to score first 7-0. The Fighting Scots would respond quickly as Taney bounces back to find receiver Mike Blodgett in the end zone, and it's all even at 7 points apiece. But the Godfather, Dan Stiefel, came back to find Levi Helbling streaking down the sideline. He's going to make a spectacular grab there. Stiefel's going to take it in from the 1-yard line 2 plays later. Knights up 14-7. Monmouth tacks on a touchdown and 2 field goals before half to take a 20-14 lead into the break. The Godfather came out guns blazing in the second half as he connects with Alcee Smith, and no one's going to catch him. He's going to take it 81 yards to pay dirt, and the Knights jump back on top after that extra point. Big John Orr, well, he's going to love what he sees. Stiefel again finds a receiver way downfield, but Levi Helbling cramps up on the play right here. He's going to be taken down on the 1. Helbling would not return to the game, but Brandon Sims would tote the rock across the goal line 3 plays later, and the Knights lead 28-20. Now, the score would stay that way for more than 3 hours as heavy storms move in, but play would resume later that night. Connor Dahlstrom seals the game for the Knights right here as he rumbles in from 17 yards out, and Wartburg would hold on for the 35-28 victory. The Knights used 21 second-half points to trot off to victory. Quarterback Dan Stiefel finished with 281 passing yards. And now, Taylor Umland goes inside the lines of this thrilling Knights victory.
It was a wet and wild opener today, but due to some strength, conditioning, and luck, faces both new and old were able to get the job done today.
Going back and forth is just, you got to stay on top of things. You can't just let it go away. They score, we got to score, we got to answer back every time. I mean, we didn't answer back right away, in the beginning, but at the end of the second quarter, we came out, or was it third quarter, whatever, I don't know. It's been a while, but a long day. But, I mean, just things rolling, you got to answer. You can't, they score, you can't let down.
Although the defense yielded 28 points on this afternoon, it was the newly led D that kept the Knights in the game. With the Wartburg offense firing blanks in the second quarter, the defenders of the Castle stepped up to keep the game within 6 heading into halftime.
With Monmouth's offense, the speed of the tempo at which they move at with their no-huddle scheme, we were able to adjust and get our calls going a little bit quicker. They're more of a passing team, but they were running the football early, so we made some adjustments in our plan in terms of handling the A-gaps and handling the run game a little bit better, and that was kind of what helped us.
A key point in the game came after a horrendous 3-hour storm delay. The game was stopped with the Knights up by 8 with 7 minutes to play. Coming out of the timeout, Coach Willis called for a reverse on 4th and 7 from the Scots' 32-yard line that went for 16 yards. Connor Dahlstrom capped the drive, putting the game away with a 16-yard TD run.
Coach Willis said, we got to play, and I said, we got to play ready. And we talked about it during the delay. We had the right, we subbed in a receiver especially for that because he was ready.
I think the most important thing about today is we found out that our team has some toughness and is willing to fight. I think first you got to give a lot of credit to, Monmouth's a good football team. They're going to win a lot of games. There was a lot of adversity out there today, and our guys just kept fighting.
The Knights were able to overcome Mother Nature and Monmouth today, and next week they will go on to take on Gustavus Adolphus at home at Walston Hoover Stadium. From Monmouth, Illinois, I'm Taylor Umland for WTV8 News.
Okay, guys, like Taylor said, the Knights are at home this weekend against Gustavus. It's actually going to be the 10th anniversary of Walston Hoover Stadium, so that should be an exciting game.
It'll be a night game, too, which is always a little extra fun to mention.
Those are a lot of fun.
Thanks, Shelby.
After the break, an unusual way to pray for healthy children. Stay tuned for more WTV8 news.
Welcome back to WTV8 News. As we've been bringing this to you all throughout the newscast, a fire broke out on the 3rd floor at Hebron Hall. John Householder went out and got the video, and we're now going to go through it with him to show you what happened.
Okay, so actually, when I went out there, fire chief actually told me that he'd been there 15 minutes. He had a call 15 minutes prior to that. They rushed the scene. The fire was caused like on 3rd floor Hebron. There's everyone evacuated from the building right there. That is actually the popcorn bag that has been rumored to have been the cause of the fire, but fire officials are actually unsure. There are lots of fire engines there, ambulances there, and just a lot of people kind of trying to figure out exactly what's going on, but fire chiefs say that they are actually just investigating the entire situation right now.
John, do you have any idea if there have been any injuries?
Now, when I was there, it didn't look like there were anyone was injured. It kind of seemed like the ambulances were not occupied with anyone. I didn't see anyone get carried out on a stretcher. I'm unsure right now, but fire officials didn't have anything to tell me. So I do believe everyone's okay, but right now I'm not totally sure.
Are students allowed back into the building, or what's going on there? Are they still outside?
Well, I was there. Everyone was still outside. I don't know if people went back into the building at this point, but while we were there, the entire building was evacuated.
And when you say entire building, was that all of the 3 halls, since it is part of the complex, or just Hebron Residence Hall?
It just seemed like it was actually, I'm not sure, but I'd assume that was the other ones. I didn't get word on this, but it was mass quantities out in that mall area, out in the Clinton Field. So hopefully everyone is okay.
All right, thanks, John. A scary situation for the freshmen who have just moved in.
Absolutely.
And that's all the time we're going to have tonight. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.